decay and compound interest in contextual situations.
Nice. That's what you got.
So if we start this again, I don't want
Can I sit next to Justin? I feel lonely right
get
here.
your
Can I sit next to no one? I feel too crowded over
What do you mean by that?
Please.
I require parental assistance.
Just to feel that, not him.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about formulas. These formulas will be given to you on the test. We won't tell you which one is which, but you will be able to have them there for you. So they're not memorized formulas, so you should have your notes out when you're doing your homework tonight. So this is the exponential growth / decay formula. How is it two formulas in one? What is making this two formulas in one? Jordan? Do you see this symbol here? That actually means this is two different things.
Okay, now you're making stuff up.
I am not making stuff up.
This is not okay.
So that means this here. It means 1 plus r to the t power, and it also means 1 minus r.
I don't like doing
So it means both of those things. So what do these variables stand for? Y is your final amount of whatever it is, whether it be money or an amount of bacteria or amount of anything. It is the final amount. A is your original amount. It's your starting value. R is your rate, which will be given to you as percentages. What do you always have to do with percentages? Turn into decimals. You turn them into decimals by dividing by 100, which means you move the decimal how many places in which direction?
200.
2 to the...
100%.
Okay, think about this. If I have 6%, the decimal is here, right?
Yes.
0.06.
Yes, if I divide that by 100, it is 0.06, right? So it is 2 to the left. That's the trick you can use. Turn, I forgot the O and into. Restroom. Let me take notes, please. And T is typically an amount of time. T is typically an amount of time. Okay. Which one of these formulas is growth and which one is decay, and why do you think that? Lexi.
is the plus because you're adding, and decay is the minus of subtract.
So think about it more mathematically. You are not incorrect. Those are growth and decay. But why would the one that's adding 1 be growth? Well, if you're doing 1 plus a number, and the number is always going to be positive because rates are always positive, the number is going to be bigger than 1. So that's what's making it growth. If you do 1 minus the rate, and again, rates are always positive, it's going to get smaller than 1. So that's why it's decay. Do you guys see that if you're thinking mathematically about it? Okay. So let's try these out a little bit after we learn this one. The next formula is compound interest, which is what is typically used for money. A is your final amount or your balance of money. P is your initial amount or your principal, is another name for it. That's why it's a P. R is the rate. Again, we always change percents to decimals. N is the number of times compounded in a year, which is up here. So if it's compounding quarterly, how many times is it compounding in a year? How many quarters are in $1? 4. So quarterly would mean n equals 4. If it's compounded monthly, there's 12 months in a year, so it's 12. Okay, please don't just shout things out. If it's compounded semi-annually, raise your hand. What do you guys think that would be? Semi-annually. Think about like semicircles, and if you guys are big shoppers, some places have semi-annual sales. Think about how many times those happen in a year. So, Tanari, what is it?
2.
It's 2. So a semicircle is half of a circle, right? There's 2 pieces to the circle. So that's 2. Some places have semi-annual sales that happen like in the summer and then one in the winter. They happen twice a year, right? So semi-annual is n equals 2. If it's yearly, n equals 1. Another thing that might come up is daily. If it is daily, how many days are in a year? Okay. So when we're using these formulas, I'm going to go back a slide again. When we're using these formulas, growth, you will see words like appreciate, growing, and stuff like that. And for decay, you might see words like depreciate, decreasing, anything of that nature that means going down. Okay? So appreciate means to become more, depreciate means to become less. So it's important to know what words you're looking for and what they mean. So those are the things you're going to look for in growth or decay. For compound interest, you're going to look for the word compounded. If you see the word compounded, it is compound interest. So if you see the word compounded, that means you're using the compound interest formula. Okay? Do we all understand that before we get into these word problems here? Okay. Please do not jump ahead. Most of you guys have calculators that will make this easy. Jana, I think you're the only one that does not. So, you will be fine. Others of you, there is a specific order to typing things in when it gets to the compound interest formula. So just please pay attention to me, okay? Also, you should be writing the naked formula every single time. What I mean by that is you should not be plugging in for T or A or Y or T at the beginning. You need to get used to that because the test is going to ask you to first write the equation and then substitute something in. Does that make sense? Okay. So the Smith family bought a condominium for $160,000 in the year 2010. If the value of the house appreciates by 5% per year, what will the value of the condo be in the year 2015? So the first thing we are going to do is write the equation. Please follow my steps. But first we have to decide which formula we have to use. Will this be growth, decay, or compound interest? Connor.
Growth.
It is appreciating, which means we're going to use the growth formula. So that is, I'm going to write it up here, y equals a times 1 plus r to the t. Do we know our final amount?
No.
No, we're trying to find that, so we're going to leave that blank. What is our beginning amount, Grace, for the condo? Is that the same formula that's on the front? I want to make sure I'm writing them the same way. There's so many different ways to write these. Yes, okay. R is your rate. What is my rate, Connor Clover? But we can't leave it as a percentage. What is that as a decimal? You don't need a calculator. The decimal's here, Connor. Just move it 2 to the left and you would be at... What? Yep, 0.05.
Yeah. Oh, you.
And we still don't know the time yet. That is what we are going to find out in the next few. We need to write the equation. Please stop. We are going to write the equation we need to use first. So we are going to do y equals 160,000 times 1 plus 0.05 to the t power. So that's the equation we are going to be using. Okay, so it says, how much will the value of the condo be in the year 2015? So this started in 2010. What would we be plugging in for T? It's time. Sonari?
Wouldn't that be 10 for 10 years?
Well, it starts in 2010 and goes to 2015. I'm looking at this one, not that one.
5.
5 years. So in this case, T is 5. So we are going to take our formula that we just wrote. 1 second, Mike. Don't lose zeros. That's really easy to do with these problems. And we're going to raise it to the 5th power. If you have a normal calculator, most of you do, you can type this exactly how you see it. You can literally say 160,000, parenthesis, 1.05, parenthesis, caret to the 5th power. It's or you guys don't have a caret, so you're fine. That just raise it to the 5th power. And then raise it 5th power, and then multiply it by the outside.
I think I accidentally took one of yours because I thought it was mine.
Did you leave me yours then?
I don't know. I just see Bratty carved into the back. Do you
I have
yours?
all of mine, so you might have. This one doesn't have a name on the back.
Do all of them usually have?
Yeah, all of them do.
Okay.
So give that one to. But
I had the right cat. That's why I got it.
I got that one out of here.
yeah, I know. I had
This is mine because it has the pencil that's
it. Perfect. All right. So, what number did you guys get? What number did you guys get, Connor?
204,205.05.
So the condo would be worth $240,205.05. All right. So what would we do then if it was the year 2020, Jordan? Girl Jordan. It would be 10. So T would be 10. So you substitute in 10 into your equation instead of 5 this time. So go ahead and substitute in 10 and tell me what you get out. Did you get it already, Kaylee? What'd you get?
260,623.14.
$260,623 and how many cents? 14 cents. All right. Okay, any questions on that one? Mike.
Wait, our besides that there's like fraction stuff over there's R over
What?
there.
That's in the compound interest formula. We're using this one. All right. Emma bought a new car.
Emma,
How much is this?
I'm not sleeping, my head hurts.
Well, this class doesn't help heads.
Especially with Connor. Hey, that's offensive towards him.
I need to get out of here.
Why don't you apologize? He's worth it.
I did this
What, Riley?
Okay. Emma bought a new car for $18,000. Once the car is driven off the lot, the car depreciates in value 15% each year. How much will the car be worth in 5 years? So, which formula are you going to use? Jordan? The decay. You see the word depreciates, which means you're going to use the decay formula. Do we know the final amount, Cassie? No. Josh, what is our starting value?
18,000.
RC, what is our rate? And how do you write that as a decimal? Yep. And we don't know the time yet, so we are going to leave that out. So we have y equals, bless you by the way, 18,000 times 1 minus 0.15 to the t power. On your test or quiz or whatever you have next, it will be a test, it will say, write the equation that represents the situation. It's not asking you to substitute anything in yet. It's asking you to leave y and t in there. That is why I'm doing this over and over again with you guys. Do you understand me?
But you substituted.
But then you'll have another step. You need to do what I'm asking you to do on the test. So I'm trying to train you guys to do it. Yes. Were you here yesterday? Oh, yeah. It's in SIS if you just want to look. Okay. How much will the car be worth in 5 years? So 5 replaces what, Brian?
5 replaces. Oh, it replaces T?
Yeah, it replaces the time. Mike, stop. Okay, go ahead and substitute that in to your calculator to figure out what your answer would be. 1 minus 0.15 is 0.85. I just subtracted these two things. 1 minus 0.15 is 0.85. You will still get the same answer either way. Yes. Riley, what's the answer?
I got 7,986.69.
Say that again. 7,000.
7,986.69. You might want to check. Oh, wait, never mind.
Did you guys get the same thing?
Yeah.
It should not matter. I'm just simplifying what I can simplify. Does that make sense?
I rounded to 70. Rounded up.
Well, that is incorrect.
Or you could, I would be fine with like this.
Yeah, that's rounded up.
Depending on what the question asks, if it asks you to round to a certain thing, you need to answer it the way it asks. Okay, are there questions on that one? Guys, no. Justin, stop. Turn, face forward. All right. What will the amount in an account be if you invested $1,500 at an interest rate of 3% compounded quarterly for 15 years? So what word in there are you picking out?
Compounded.
So we're using the compound interest formula. Is it really?
How do you remember this?
How would you know?
So I
how to
use them
do
all
this
the
like
time.
that?
That's why you're given formulas. You don't just know how to do it. Also, that's why you're learning it, because you don't know how to just do it like that.
Yeah, I know, but like,
I'm
it
doing
doesn't
good.
make sense.
Oh, wait, oh, that's.
You shouldn't be in this classroom if you know what we're talking about every day.
What will be
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
what will be enough?
you're supposed to be learning stuff.
I don't know what you're saying.
What will be amount?
Oh, no.
I do.
What will be
I do
amount?
like almost everything I do.
You've done pretty good
What will be
lately.
amount in an account?
account?
Why do you think I would imagine?
You don't.
What will be amount?
That's a surprise.
Not account. What will be
All right.
STRAW.
Okay, we don't know our final amount. P is the principal or the starting amount. So, Jayla, what is the starting amount? What is your rate? What is your rate, Justin Crater? So it's 3%, which is 0.03. N is the number of times it's compounded in a year. So what word are we looking at for N? Raise your hand and tell me what word we're looking at for N. Jordan. The word quarterly. So this is your N value. N says quarterly. What does quarterly mean, Mike?
4.
So N is 4, and then we don't know the time yet.
Wait, isn't it?
Yeah.
Guys, we first write out the equation, and then we answer it with the time.
Oh, okay. That makes some kind of sense, probably.
It's just so that you can use it whenever you need to use it. So the reason I'm saying this is that I could have given each of you guys a different number of years to find. But for notes purposes, I'm only doing one, and that's 15. But if I wanted to, I could give you guys 1 through 25, because there's 25 of you, right? That's not what I... What? So I could give you the numbers 1 through 25. So Riley, I tell you to write it this way so that if you need to find any number of years, you can find it, because it's blank there, and you just resubstitute it. Okay, do not go straight to your calculators, because you'll do it wrong if you do. What does T get replaced with? Okay.
Greg, you cuss?
Before, stop. Before you substitute into your calculator, multiply your exponent. So if you multiply that first, what is 4 times 15? Then you can go to your calculator. Otherwise, it will do to the 4th power times 15. Based on how you guys are going to put it in there. Okay, go ahead and substitute that into your calculator.
Not math.
Make sure, shh, please stop talking. Make sure you use a division bar here, not a fraction bar, because if your calculator will be fine, but if you're using the blue calculators, these ones, if you try the fraction bar, it will probably give you an error. You can try it and see if it works or not. If not,
No.
you have a fraction bar, try to do it with the division bar.
I have a folder as a toy.
Stop. I'm going to stop teaching this class because you guys obviously don't care. You just mess around the whole time, turn around, and don't care about anything I'm saying. No wonder you're lost. Stop talking. Did you try it with the fraction bar, Emma? Or did you do the division? Try it with the fraction and see if it gives you an error.
That's what it is. I'm super confused.
Why did you just multiply it by 1,500?
Is this what it
Yeah,
is?
what do you mean?
Try it in your calculator. I'll write the answer up. I will write the answer up, and if you don't get it, if you do not get it, you need to fix it. Yeah, you have to use the division symbol. Oops, I did something wrong. So, here is the answer. If you do not get this number here, raise your hand. If you did not get that number there, raise your hand. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is do 0.03 divided by 4 and add 1. And add 1. Okay, so then you can now replace that with 1.0075. So you'll do 1,500 times 1.005 raised to the 60, and then you should be able to go from there.
Okay, so this is what?
Right, and then that inside is 1.0075. Okay, and you should be able to do it from there, and if not, okay, stop talking. That wasn't grounds for you to talk. Did anybody not get that number and need my help?
Oh, I got. Oh.
Did you get it?
Oh, I did. But so what's the again?
Use instead of the fraction, use the division symbol.
Oh, okay.
Did you not get it, Jayla? You need to type it all in at once. You never divided by 4. What's wrong? You got it, but what was your thing?
Yeah, I got it. Because like this is appreciate. I'm a good. Oh, it's
So appreciate means get bigger. So that's why we use the addition sign here. Okay. Depreciate means get smaller. That's why we use the subtraction sign to make it less than 1 underneath, okay? And then compound, it needs this extra division in it because it has to do it 4 times throughout the year. So this division here takes the rate and divides it through 4 times because it's happening 4 times throughout the year. And it multiplies it the time over 4 because it's not just happening yearly, because if n is 1, it's yearly. But it's happening 4 times, so it needs to multiply over time.
It's like your Y.
So like the time here is 15, but it's really happening 60 times during the year, because 60 times over the 15 years, because it happens 4 times each year.
What's your sticky fingers?
Okay.
Okay, so does that make sense now? A little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay. That's because that's not what's underneath. You need to do it the correct way. Order matters. You need to do the that to the exponent and then multiply them. All right, guys. I think we have one more. Shh. On your 4th birthday, your parents invested $800 in a CD, which is a certificate of deposit. It is a type of
Think together.
Gosh, what am I trying to think here? It's a type of way to gain interest. It's a different, you put it on a CD, which is not really a real
More
CD,
interest than a bank.
and it gains interest on it. At the bank, the CD earns interest at a rate of 4.75%, but it is only compounded semi-annually. What will the CD be worth on your 18th birthday? So first of all, what equation should you be using? So it's compounded, so it's compound interest. So, we do not know A. That is what we're going to figure out. What is our beginning amount? What is the beginning amount? Blaine. And what is my rate, Mike? What's the rate?
Oh. And 75.
4.75 is 4 and 75
thought you were supposed to add.
hundredths, but I know why you're saying it that way, but it's 4.75 is fine. How does that change, though, guys? We can't put it in as 4.75. 0.0475. So, Mike, the way you wanted to say it was 4 and 75 hundredths is what you were trying to say.
Is that right or not?
That's one way of saying it, yes. That's mathematically more correct, but... All right, n is the number of times it's compounded in a year. Where do we find that? Where are we finding the number of times? Riley. And what does semi-annually mean?
2.
Thanks, guys. Riley, your voice changed, and it came from a lot of different directions.
He's magic.
I can throw my voice.
I'm proud of you for that. And we do not know the time yet. We do, but we don't. Because I want you guys to have the blank formula first.
Why?
Because it's going to be like that on the test, and I don't want you to get that wrong. Okay, stop talking. So, what will the CD be worth on your 18th birthday? It was started on your 4th birthday, and this is happening on your 18th birthday. How many years is that?
14.
Okay, substitute in 14, but remember, do not go straight to your calculator. What must you do first? Thank you. Make sure you're multiplying the exponent first. So what's 2 times 14? So then you can substitute it into your calculator. What? I don't know. Let me see what calculator you have. No, you do not.
I didn't think
You do not. The Casio calculators, you do not have to do it. It's the TI calculator, so you don't have to do it either.
Casio.
It's the TI calculators, you shouldn't have to do it either, because it actually raises it in a box. Yeah, it raises it in a box, unlike the Texas Instrument one, so that's why. That's why I asked you what calculator.
I had a pink one, then I lost it because I was like here and I was running from the back of the school to the front school because my parents were here and it fell out of my backpack.
Like one of the TI ones?
Yeah.
How did I find 14? So it started on your 4th birthday, and this is happening until your 18th birthday, so that's 14 years after your 4th birthday. Okay, how much money is in that account? Riley.
That's not what I got.
I don't think that's right.
Darn it,
I got 1,543.
Not 22,000.
1,000.
Who said that?
154.3.54.
Did other people get what Kaylee got?
Yes.
That really is not helping with your college fund. Just throwing that out there. You're not going to get very far with that much money. Sure.
having a problem.